Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and welcome to another video. This week has been full of tiny changes and tweaks and things, all in order to work towards releasing a demo of Regulator City. So we're going to talk about some of the tweaks and things I did. This is all, or most of these things are for the enjoyment of the player, to have a better game feel and to have just that better sense of power, that you are in control, you're the player, you're the main hero of this world. So let's dive into the intro and talk about the changes. First thing I worked on is the character select screen. This is still a bit of an empty screen, but you get to pick one of your leaders, and this leader will have a special ability. I have almost all abilities sorted except for one. I think the others are gonna be interesting. I haven't added them to the game yet, except for the Fury Fists. The other things should be easy to implement and interesting and usable for the player. I just need that final ability for one of these guys, and then I actually have a secret character that's gonna be unlockable, who's probably also gonna be needing a power. But so I need at least two good ideas. If there are any takers for interesting power that will really give the player an advantage, but it's very limited. You can only use it for an X amount of times, or there's an energy bar that depletes as you use it. For example, one of these powers is the morphing power that will allow you to look like the enemy, but it will be for a certain time limit. The Fury Fists will be for like 2 or 3 times. And maybe we'll be able to upgrade that bar, but there is gonna be a limit to how many times you can use that ability. So I need a couple of interesting abilities pretty much. If you have ideas, drop them in the comments below. That's the character select screen. Let's dive into the actual game now. I've been changing the heads-up display or the status bar, whatever you want to call it. Going for that retro arcade vibe, having a lot of things there. Modern games these days, a lot of games don't have a lot of stuff in the status bar. I don't want a lot of stuff there, but I want to have some things there and just have it really go for that arcadey feeling. That's one of the things I set out to do when I started working on this game. Also, when I started working on Regulator City, I was also investigating and looking into doing a beat 'em up game. A lot of what I wanted to do in a beat 'em up game is actually now in Regulator City, or I'm applying it to Regulator City, including a status bar like this. It might change in a few weeks. Maybe I'll get bored with it or think it's just not working. We'll do something completely different. For now, I kind of like it. So this is the current status bar for the current build. I've also been tweaking the enemy AI. There are some things I'm pretty sure are bugs and not going as I think they should be going based on my code. So that's pretty much a bug. There are other things that need improvement. Running away, when you throw a grenade at them, they will running away, but right now they're all mostly running into one direction, depending on where you are. One direction. Which is okay, I guess, but it would probably look cooler if they scatter a bit in all types of directions. I've also made them a little bit more aggressive and changed parameters so that various different types of enemies can have different type of aggression. I need to do a lot more of these things. Some of these enemies should just have so much aggression. They don't care if they're being shot, they're always gonna attack you. Others should be just running away from you, and this should also be visible to the player, so you need to understand the differences between certain enemies so that you can make decisions on what they're most likely gonna do. Finally, I've been working on the game feel type things. There are some great videos on this topic on YouTube. Check it out, game feel, and you'll probably run into the one most people know about a little breakout game. You have a bat, a ball, and stones, and they'll show you what game feel can add to a game. Little animations, little extra, little oomph, little screen shake, little bounce. It just adds a lot to the experience. In this case, I've been adding a little tiny extra sparks when you hit an enemy or when you shoot an enemy, but also a little pushback on that enemy so that you actually, you really get a feeling that you're hitting him and you're pushing him back, and there is more interaction between you pushing the trigger button and then seeing the effect of that, not just a bullet flying against an enemy with a couple of blood spatters and then eventually he dies. There's more oomph to it, more game feel, and most importantly is that this gives the player a kind of a feeling that you have all the power, you're in control, you're really doing something. And game feel is really hard to explain, but it's in all those games. There's just a lot of stuff you add to a certain event that just give it more oomph and more presence in the game world, and gives the player that extra feeling of doing something. That's the best how I can describe it. You'll just have to play this game eventually to understand it. You might also have noticed that dead bodies are now blinking and disappearing. They stayed on the screen or in the level in the previous versions. It could get a little bit messy, and it also clutters the screen with a lot of information that the player doesn't need. These bodies are dead, these enemies are gone. We don't need to show them anymore to the player, so we now vanish them out of existence. And again, that's something I kind of borrowed from beat 'em up type games where this is happening all the time, because also it just removes a lot of clutter on the screen, and you don't want to see all these enemy bodies. And dead bodies obviously look a lot like live enemies, so you don't want to confuse the player, and you don't, in these days, don't want to confuse the viewers who are watching maybe somebody else play on Twitch or whatever. You want to make things as clear as possible, so dead bodies are now vanishing. And now finally, the big new feature I've been working on this week. It's not huge, but it took a lot of time to figure out how to do this. Things like this often feel hacky when you dive into the code and you have to change certain things to make this work. But we can now sneak up on an enemy, grab him, and there will be a little snap sound, and he will be dead, but without shooting bullets, without alarming anybody around it, which is pretty cool. It still needs a little bit refining, but yeah, it kind of works. I might need a little bit of a different animation for the enemies, make it more clear what's happening, but in the whole of an arcade game, this pretty much, I think it works. I added a little slow motion effect to the whole game, so when you're sneaking up on an enemy, we will actually zoom in and then slow motion a little bit, and you'll be able to grab that enemy. Now, design wise, there's some cheating going on here. As soon as the enemy detects that you are near him and the sneak mode starts, that enemy will pretty much, or it should, hold still and just stand there idly waiting to be it's not working exactly as I wanted yet. There's some bugs going on. Sometimes they will turn around and shoot at you. I guess that's very realistic. It's just not a lot of fun in the game, so I want that out. So as soon as you are near an enemy, I just want the game or that enemy to know you're pretty much goner. Just stand there, don't turn around, nothing's going on, just wait and you'll be snapped. I need a little bit of tweaking to get that fixed and working perfectly. Right now, every now and then you'll be walking towards an enemy and it will start in zoom mode even though you're shooting at him. That's a lot of little changes and detections I have to build into game, but it's gonna work, and I think it adds a lot to the game. Again, it adds a lot of power to the player. Just having that option, you can go in guns blazing, you can try to do it tactical and shoot from certain angles and find an advantage point, but now you can also sneak behind an enemy and just silently that. So pretty cool addition to the game. And that's it for this week. It's been a very, it's been a productive week, but very unvisual. There's not a lot of stuff I can really show you. There has been little change and tweaks to things like I had dialogues that show up, but then sometimes another dialogue was also planned to show up. So it would slide out, slide in, slide out, slide in. I removed that slide in. It's now a dialogue shows up when you continue. And there's another dialogue that needs to be shown. It will just show that dialogue without that sliding. Makes it more continuous. Just a better feel for the player again. Yeah, it's been a lot about feelings this week. Feelings. Must have been Valentine's Day, but feelings for the game, maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, drop them below, please. It helps the YouTube algorithm as well to also show the video to other people, which in turn helps me, which in turns help me create better and bigger games, which in turns help you with more videos and just a good karma feeling, I guess. Like, comment below, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.